This legendary ninja commander met her end in battle, yet she kept returning for decades. If her records are true, then death means absolutely nothing when hell technology is involved. Today, we are going to look at the classified files that finally explain this impossible anomaly. Welcome back to the channel. Make sure to like and subscribe as we dive into this dark history. We need to talk about the year 2069, because that was when the shadow world completely broke down. I remember playing through this era and thinking how insanely grim the corporate warfare felt. The Koukawa village stood as a fortress of tradition against modern underworld syndicates. But traditions do not stop bullets or corporate assassins hired by Edwin Black and his empire. The entire clan fell during a massive coordinated strike that erased them from the map. I mean, the absolute devastation left behind was honestly hard to even process at the time. Enter Koukawa Oboro, a fiercely loyal protector born around 2044 who led the side branch. She was not your typical generic hero. She actually clashed with the elders over shady deals. Oboro walked away from her clan because she refused to support their questionable criminal acts. But when she heard about the massacre, she rushed right back to save her young student Asaka. She immediately challenged Edwin Black to a duel, offering her own life for Asaka's safety. She lost that fight, and her captured body was handed over to a mad scientist named Fürst. Most players think she died right there, but her true soul actually escaped into another vessel. This left her original, empty shell at the mercy of Fürst and his demonic laboratory tools. He stuffed a half-demon soul from a dying slum orphan straight into Oboro's vacant remains. I actually feel bad for that orphan. She just wanted to live and feed her stray cat, Obocat. But hell technology completely brainwashed her, turning this new entity into the evil Oboro. This twisted puppet now absolutely despised her former allies and swore total loyalty to Nomad. She formed the Oboro ninja troops, secretly operating in the shadows to hunt down her old friends. I kind of forget the exact year, but how did a zombie become a better commander than the original? During a major clash in 2069, the legendary Asagi finally tracked down this dark imposter. Asagi took her down, but Edwin Black simply revived the puppet with even more demonic cells. Fürst then implanted the hypnotic eye, a devastating ability that completely halts all movement. The puppet just needed her target to hold a specific object, and she gained total control. This ability made the rivalry deeply personal, transforming Oboro into a relentless stalker. Fast forward to 2072, Oboro took charge of the Chaos Arena, a massive underground coliseum. She orchestrated a brilliant trap to lure the retired Asagi back into the active battlefield. Oboro hijacked the body of Asagi's boyfriend, Sawaki Kyosuke, taking over his literal mind. Disguised as Kyosuke, she handed Asagi a ring that triggered the paralyzing hypnotic trap. Asagi became a helpless prisoner inside the arena, subjected to endless psychological torment. Oboro utilized sick body modifications to forcefully bypass Asagi's incredible mental resistance. She constantly threw Asagi into rigged gladiator matches, ensuring she could never actually win. And the worst part is how Oboro recorded everything just to generate massive corporate profits. She even manipulated Asagi's sister, Sakura, luring her directly into the exact same facility. Sakura tried to fight back, but Oboro still held Kyosuke hostage as her literal human shield. The villain planned to force these two sisters into a scenario where they would destroy each other. Black wanted them corrupted, but Oboro just wanted to watch them suffer for her own enjoyment. On the day of the final match, Oboro laid out the rules for a deadly duel between the sisters. The winner would walk free, while the loser's life ended right there on the cold arena floor. But the sisters had secretly devised a desperate plan to break through the absolute paralysis. They faked their intense brawl, pushing themselves closer and closer to Oboro's sexual throne. Sakura utilized a hidden shadow technique to completely vanish from the enemy's line of sight. She merged into Asagi's shadow, allowing Asagi to suddenly dash forward at supersonic speeds. Oboro immediately triggered her hypnotic art to free Asagi completely in her tracks once more. But she entirely forgot about Sakura, who leaped out of the darkness for a surprise counterattack. A sudden strike from Sakura disrupted the hypnotic signal, freeing Asagi from the mental chains. Without a second of hesitation, Asagi struck forward and ended the twisted puppet's existence. A tragic event occurred that day, because defeating Oboro also meant ending Kyosuke's life too. Black allowed the surviving heroes to walk away, satisfied with the massive emotional damage done. I still think this ending is incredibly heavy, making you question if winning was even worth it. But in this dark corporate universe, genetic material is never truly discarded or left alone. 4 years later, in 2076, rival syndicate Dragon Gate created a biological clone of this villain. This clone grew immensely powerful, commanding a secret hideout guarded by advanced bioweapons. When Asagi breached the facility, the terrified clone attempted to flee through the underground. She was suddenly intercepted by Edwin Black and another figure stepping out of the dark shadows. The real puppet had returned yet again, revived by Black as an incredibly powerful vampire elite. Vampire Oboro quickly eliminated her own clone, reclaiming her high-ranking position within Nomad. Moving into the year 2082, Oboro launched her most ambitious and horrifying operation at Gosha. She partnered with Fürst to infiltrate the academy under the guise of ordinary school faculty.
They targeted Asuka's adopted brother, manipulating his desire to awaken his own dormant powers. He was given experimental medication that completely rewired his brain into a mindless instrument. Oboro literally transformed this young kid into an organic remote control to manipulate Asagi's mind. When Oboro moved in to capture her rival, the boy suddenly awakened his true metallic abilities. He hurled heavy metal objects across the room, buying enough time for backup to finally arrive. The villains were forced to retreat, dragging their poor captive hostage back to their dark base. Later on, Asagi was defeated by Black and dragged to the desolate underground city of Yomihara. Oboro was placed in charge of breaking her spirit, applying a harsh slave crest to ensure loyalty. But here is the massive narrative twist that completely changes how you view this entire timeline. In the true ending path, Oboro arranged a final battle between the captured Asagi and young Asuka. She fully expected Asagi to simply give up her own life rather than fight her precious daughter. Oboro stood on the sidelines, completely confident that she had finally achieved ultimate victory. She did not realize Asuka had already broken free from the mind control before the match started. Asuka brought a brainwashed pawn named Ishiyama Takuto and positioned him right next to the boss. The heroes faked their emotional clash perfectly, drawing everyone's attention away from the pawn. Takuto's pockets were secretly loaded with highly volatile explosive rockets meant for destruction. Right at the climax of the duel, Asuka remotely detonated the hidden arsenal with zero hesitation. A massive explosion engulfed the command platform, leaving Oboro with absolutely no time to react. Her life came to a halt right then and there, permanently shattering the unbreakable slave crest. The puppet finally fell for good, leaving her canonical fate somewhat ambiguous in future timelines. Her twisted existence proved that corporate science could turn even the most noble souls into monsters. She single-handedly inflicted scars on the legendary heroes that would never truly heal over time. Honestly, looking back at this entire saga, I feel bad for the original commander who lost everything. She sacrificed her future just to protect her student, only to have her legacy ruined by a madman. Maybe the real villain was not the puppet, but the corrupt system that allowed her to be created. I think this story perfectly captures how deep and tragic old-school gaming lore can actually get. If you want more dark lore breakdowns that change how you see your favorite games, hit subscribe now.